What's up, YouTube? This is Southpaw Robinson checking in. Today's subject matter, with all of this stuff that we've got going on in the country, based on police brutality against Black American citizens, uh, the mother's complaints, worries, and fears about raising young Black males in this environment, in this climate today. One of the subjects that came up in a recent debate was a young Black mother saying to me, I can't make my son a man. And, all things up for debate. I'm sure everyone has strong views on this subject matter. I grew up hearing the statement a lot: in order to be a man, you must first see a man. I somewhat agree with that, but I don't think that man has to be in your life or in your house. I just think that as women out here raising children, no matter what race you are, when it comes to kids, I'm soft-hearted, I'm open-hearted. They're children, and it's how they're reared that makes race come into play. So when I give information on my blog about children, kids, young people, race doesn't matter, because hopefully any information that I could provide would never allow someone outside the Black race to grow up thinking that that's what it's supposed to be about. The whole thing about I cannot make him a man, for me, you can't make anyone anything, if that makes sense. I want you to ponder what I just said for a second. Don't just listen to me with response at the forward of your mind. But you can't make, if I was rearing, I have two daughters, and if something happened to their mothers, I'm not sitting around waiting until I get another female in my life to raise my daughters. I'm going to give them what they need, and I'm going to nurture them to the best of my ability. But I'm going to be clear on the fact that I can't make them be women, make them be ladies, if you want to use that term. What I feel that I do, and what anyone should do as a parent, is rear your children, guide them, be a good example for your children. Raise them in a way that you want them to turn out in the end. Because at some point, they're pushing the buttons. They're pulling the levers. They're making their own decisions. And to the best of your ability, by making good decisions in front of them, it's a great way to show them how they themselves can make good decisions. You don't make. Here's an example. If a woman is raising a Black male child or any other race of child, she's a woman raising a male child. If that child grows up and becomes a banker, lawyer, doctor, financier, surgeon, high-level politician, something great, someone great, what do you do then at that moment? Because I've heard this. We didn't need a man. We did this on our own. His dad was never present. So if the child becomes a success, it's clear you didn't need a man. And there are lots of successful people out here, all over this country and other countries, that came up motherless or fatherless. There's a lot of ways for your child to become fatherless other than you had a baby outside wedlock. What if the dad died in the military? Or died when the child was a baby, or you were pregnant and the dad was out driving tractor trailers across country and an accident happened and the child lost its father before it was even born. So you make an excuse? The child still has to be reared. And that's exactly what an excuse is, one's reasoning behind or for their failure. An excuse is one's reasoning for failure. If you fail at something, whatever reasoning you come up with, that's your excuse. So now, when you have a child, there's no time for excuses. Okay? So we don't want it just to be that if the child goes to jail, gets in trouble, becomes an arsonist, or God forbid some other unacceptable waste of human citizenship, then it becomes, oh, he needed a dad. Oh, he needed a father in his life. You know, that's an excuse. Okay? The child needs to be reared, and the child needs to be taught respect and good decision making. And I would be the first as a person. I didn't have a brother for, I think my brother was born when I was 14 and my sister when I was 16. So I didn't have siblings for a very long period of time. And there was no father figure other than the men that I grew up around. My grandfather, I had some time in his home. A couple of uncles, one in particular that was pivotal in my seeing a man in a house with a woman and a family and trying to run a peaceful home. They did have their effects, but by and large, my mom did everything for me. Everything. My mom that was all I had. So, you know, I strayed. I went way to the left at one point and way to the right and back again in my life. And here I am now with my own children, grandchildren, the whole 9 yards. And I'm still saying it can be done. I'm a barber. I'm inside a barber shop. This is where I've worked for a very long time. And I come in contact with single mothers all the time, and a great deal of them, no man present whatsoever, have the most mannerable, respectful, intelligent, articulate children that I have ever come across. So I'm gonna check out for now, but you know, just giving you a little bit of food for thought on rearing the black male child in particular, since that's how the subject was brought to me, but to any woman raising a male child, it starts at the time of birth. Remember, you are not your child's effing friend. I do believe that friendship is the basis of all relationships, all good relationships, but be clear. You're the parent. The buck stops with you. Don't let your child get away with murder at 1, 2, 3 years old. With a mother and father present, that can turn into a problem. There are lots of problem children out here in the world that have both parents. Look it up, research it. Don't just make excuses. There are lots of children who are spoiled horribly. They're brats, and they have both of their parents. So, again, you know, children make excuses. If you're in their life all the time and you're trying to make them a strong kid and they go out and they make bad decisions, some of them will come back to you with this excusive crap about you're being too strict, about them being too sheltered. Okay, well then you got the parents that are free spirits that kind of let their children be a lot more loose or live at other people's homes with aunts and grandparents and the like. And when they go out and mess up, they come back and say, you were too loose. You were not strict enough. You didn't give me enough guidance. You know, you weren't involved in my life. Okay, so everybody can make excuses. My thing is, be in your child's life. Give them presence, not presents. Not presents, presents like buying them toys and TVs and laptops and gifts. Give them your presence. Presence. Okay? Every year at Christmas time, you got a lot of people that run out and do all kinds of criminal things, especially in tougher, more poverty-stricken communities, to get gifts, presents for their children. They end up in trouble. They end up locked up. And they're not there to give their children their presents. So I'm going to sign off for now. I'll see you with my next upload. Peace, love, a lot of laughter, and happiness. Spend time with them kids. Deuces. All right?